Here on AWS. Last week it wasn't working. This week it's been fine. I don't understand. Okay, so here's what I'll cover today. It'll be about 10 minutes plus some Q&A. So design and concepts, that's your foundation. You should always learn that. And like I said, check out those other videos. I'm going to skip that, unfortunately, because I was interested in doing more of the SQL. But that's spend most of your time doing that. Then you can create your database, Oracle. There's also SQL Server. These are the two free tiers on AWS. It takes you about 5 minutes to set it up and install it. It's very easy. They've made it so very seamless. Then what we'll talk about is tools, things you need to do to connect. A couple tools is SQL Plus, that's your command, and also SQL Developer, which is much easier to use. It's a GUI tool that you can run statements and select which statements and leave statements. It's really user-friendly, and you can view the tables and reports. And this is all free. Then we'll talk a little bit about, we'll do some of the SQL Plus. We'll talk about the info, how to capture info out of the database, basic queries about viewing table data and different structures. And then we'll do the SQL, and these are the basic things you should know for SQL is show, create, describe, update, delete, drop, and create an index. Okay? All right, let's start with AWS. So here's the console. They have an amazing plethora of tools. Go check it out. There's a ton of free stuff. So before I talked about EC2, that's my virtual instance that I'm on right now. What I did this last week was RDS. They also have Mango in here, Dynamo, which is AWS, NoSQL, Redshift.
Is not there.
We'll have to figure out how to get that one up there.
There's an AMI for it, I'm sure.
All right, let's go into RDS. So what you do is, they have other ones as well, MySQL, any database you can think of pretty much. So you go through a wizard launch database, and it takes you through about 5 steps, and it's very simple to do. You can pick out your different schema names, you can pick out the size, CPU, and there's one thing you have to do to configure your security in order to connect. I won't go through that today, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Then you have your database instance. We'll look at that. So I have one here. It's standard edition. And here's some basic statistics. By the way, backup is configured and run automatically, which is really nice. And then you have your CPU, memory, and storage. If you want to go look at more, you can see more historical data here. I've had it up for about a week or two. And you can see storage space, I/O activity, memory, and CPU. So a lot of good, useful tools there. All right, let's get into some of the things I did here. So the first two tools that you install, you download from Oracle, are the SQL Plus and the SQL Developer. So I just threw it on the C drive, download a couple folders. So here's the instant client right here. That's SQL Plus. And you have to configure environment variable. You have to add TNS names and SQLnet.aura. And it takes about 10 minutes to set up. And then you can connect with the command line. And then here's a SQL Developer. You download that, extract it, and then you run the SQL Developer, which I'll show you in a minute. And you connect to the database same way. Username, password, TNS port name, and the database name. All right, so let's take a look at it. So here, I'm in the instant client directory, and I want to connect, do SQL Plus, username, then here's the database, the port, and the SID, which is your database name. And you connect.
Can you blow that up, possibly?
Yeah, of course. We'll see, actually. Which one? This one here?
That one, or whichever one you're going to be.
Yeah, get the font.
You know, I might have to, it might be easier if,
I think it's Command Plus, possibly,
Oh, okay.
or unless it's like you said, it's a virtual.
there we go.
Modify.
That better?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so we're connected. Can run some basic commands. User admin. Let's go over here. I have saved all this content or all this SQL queries out on the GitHub so you can take a look at it. Okay, so let's run a few other ones here. One other important one here is select name from VDAR database. That shows you what database you're connecting to. Select instance from vInstance. That tells you the instance.
How do we add this?
Yeah.
All in the Oracle database, you use the SQL to talk to the SQL. So the database has tables built in, and that's what you're doing when you do those.
Yes, yeah. I haven't created anything yet. I'm basically just looking at what's already installed.
But there's the $ are tables, and you can run SQL against the $signs.
Yeah.
The name is called PL SQL.
Oh yeah, PL SQL.
Yeah, it's different name, but it's okay.
Yeah, PL SQL
PL
for Oracle. Yes. So some basic ones like version.
You need to blow that up again, sir.
Yeah. So here we're on 11.2.0 is the version. Trying to switch back and forth.
That's the standard version that they give you?
Yep, this is what they gave us for free.
It's almost not support.
Yeah, I think we're 12. What's the 12? Latest 12? C?
C.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, get in there and play around. A couple other useful commands are, I'll just blow it up. I don't have to type them out. Show user, that shows you the user logged in. Select, here's an example hello world that I wrote. System timestamp, hello world, and a simple calculation. I'll show you that in a minute on the SQL Plus. Yep, set wrap, that wraps the line so you can easy read it, and line size, depending on how much data you can squish and you can expand the different line size. All right, let's go switch back over to SQL Developer right here. So I find this much more user-friendly. Yeah, so you could put all your statements in there. And let's run this one. And just select the one that you want to run. And you could select the whole thing and run the whole thing as a script. But here's that system timestamp hello world calculation. Oh, there we go. Timestamp hello world calculation. Let's run a few more. Here's a couple tables I created, customer members. So that's selecting the table, describing what's tables and attributes. Here's select from, this is actually showing the table data, so I created a few records in there, first name, last name, user ID. Let me go back over here, and I'll just run through some of these. So first thing you want to do is show tables, shows you what's available. Then you can start creating. So create table, these are your keywords. Members is your table name. User ID, this is a number value, so it only selects numbers. This is a primary key, that means not null and unique. So we generate a number, usually has to be very unique and filled. Then I created a couple more columns, first name and last name. Gave it varchar2 with 100 characters and made it not null. So those are the basic when you're creating a table.
What is varchar?
Varchar means numbers and characters is what you can accept.
Variables and characters.
Yep. Then you describe it, and it'll tell you the attributes of you just created the table. Then you, if you want to actually change it, so let's say you want to go from 100 characters down to 50 characters, you do alter, table, table name, and modify. And then the column name, and change the attribute. All right, if you want to insert, now you're ready to insert data. Insert is keyword, table name, members, and value, the first 3 columns. So I had user ID, first name, last name, with single quotes. All right, if you want to update, you can update, change the data. You do update table name, set, or first name. We're going to change my name to Joseph. And where clause, user ID, pick out my user ID, change it to 001.
So if you wanted to insert 250,000 rows.
Yeah.
How would you do that?
Well, there's probably a much better way than what I would tell you. Maybe Ernest can tell you. Other than, what would be the best way to insert?
Bulk.
Through Bark?
Yeah, it's a stemming oil called bulk in SQL Server.
Yeah, okay.
You can put the stemming into you very fast. Bulk.
Okay, I'll have to look into that. It's good.
Bulk.
Bulk.
Bulk. Oh, bulk upload.
Bulk upload, that's correct.
Yes.
Oh, bulk, yes.
The other way you could do is you could build a model of the data in an XML and then run it through it.
Always looking for a different way.
You go bulk.
Bulk, B-U-L-K, yeah.
Yeah, but you can also use an XML model and pull it in. Define it as this and then just have it swallow it.
So if I just have it in a CSV, then I have to convert it to XML?
No, actually, a bulk will do
Bulk
a
will
CSV.
handle it.
Yes, if the column names match, otherwise life gets more and more complicated.
Gotcha.
Very fast.
All right, we have a few more now. So delete data, simple one here, delete from table, where user ID could be whatever your unique ID. Then you can show, again, you can show your content, select from the table. And lastly, create an index. So indexes are created on the primary key table, but mostly you want to create an index on foreign keys. Foreign keys reference the primary key of another table. And that is simply create index, create your index name, and then on the table name and the column.
Would you like some comment about that?
Yeah, please.